Welcome, everyone. Just want to thank you for joining us today. We're going to go through the features and benefits of STEP Warmfloor. I'm going to start here by just talking about the HeatMyFloors.com company. We are a subsidiary of Wright-Hennepin Cooperative Electric Association. We are a member-owned co-op. We are a distributor of the electric radiant floor heating product since 1996. We offer the Sysfo boilers, the STEP Warmfloor product, also the Danfoss cable systems. We are located in Rockford, Minnesota. I'll be your speaker today. My name is Tracy Hettwer. I am a Heat My Floors product rep. I've been with Wright-Hennepin Electric for 11 years, 7 years in customer service, and 4 years with Heat My Floors. Just to give you a little bit of history on the STEP Warmfloor product, it was developed by Stefan Ergens. The manufacturer is located in St. Louis, Missouri. They've been there since 1994, doing business under Electroplastic. The product was originally developed in 1981 to heat automobile seats. Award-winning product, hundreds of thousands of feet of element sold throughout the world. The picture to the right here is actually a picture of the manufacturer's building. Their whole building is heated using STEP Warmfloor. They even have used the snow melt product outside on their loading dock and sidewalk to help with the snow melting process. STEP Warmfloor has been featured on Bath Crashers and Sweat Equity. So maybe you've had a chance to catch those episodes and see the STEP Warmfloor actually being installed on these DIY channels. Why radiant floor heating? What does it mean to you, the homeowner? It's going to increase comfort. When your feet are warm, you feel warmer. It's your hands and feet that feel cold. The heat distribution in a room is optimal when the temperature is higher at the feet than at the head level. Secondly, improves indoor air quality. Radiant heat does not blow allergens. It helps those with allergies and asthma find dramatic improvement to their symptoms. Safe and aesthetically pleasing. Completely invisible, electric floor heating is concealed in the floor without the need for ugly heat pumps, baseboard heaters, or vents. No risk of direct contact with the heating element. Also, radiant heating reduces energy costs. You are more comfortable at a lower air temperature. This air temperature will save you money on your energy bills. Easy to zone, heat where and when you want. Why would a homeowner choose radiant floor heating? Increases comfort. Radiant heat heats bodies and it heats objects. That's why you feel warmer with a radiant heat. Improves indoor air quality. No dust or dirt blowing around throughout the house. It's also safe, reduces energy costs, easy to create heating zones. The picture here on the right, you'll see your forced air systems blowing air all around the room. You get inconsistent temperatures. Some areas are warmer than others. With the radiant heat, the heat stays on the floor, and that's where your feet are, and that's why you feel warmer with the radiant heat. That's where the cold drafts are on the floor. So if you've got the heat on the floor, you're going to feel much warmer. Why would you choose STEP Warmfloor? Energy efficiency, self-regulating, total heat or floor warming. This picture here happens to be a total heat, brand new construction home down in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's a total heat project underneath the concrete. So you can do total heat or floor warming. Multiple applications. This, I believe, is actually the manufacturer's building when they built it using the STEP Warmfloor. You can use STEP Warmfloor in commercial or residential applications, as well as new construction or remodeling projects. You also can use the product under tile, wood, carpet, vinyl, or staple up in your floor joist application. Reliability, simplicity, and safety. Here's a few more applications. This would be for a tile application. This would be a whole room application, finished space, as well as a staple up application here in between the floor joists. All right, now to compare some of the systems, there's the cable system. There's also the hydronic water tubing. Cable systems are on a sticky back mesh. Examples is the Danfoss, which is a system we do carry, typically used under tile. Higher temperatures can handle the higher temperatures of a cable system. That's why typically you will see tile being used with a cable system. A lot of times they're smaller areas. Bathrooms are the most popular. The other option is the hydronic water tubing system. It's tubing that is usually adhered to insulation underneath the concrete in a basement application, typically new construction. A lot of sheds or garage, you may see a boiler. A lot of times it's a larger application. And STEP Warmfloor works with both applications, large or small. Again, going through the commonly used radiant heating systems is you've got your electric cables or flexible heating film. They convert electrical power into heat and require a thermal mass or an air gap to spread out the heat. Since the power generated is fixed, temperatures are controlled by on-off thermostats and floor sensors, creating differential temperature changes in the floor. Yet the next one was the hydronic system. You can have a gas or electric boiler. These pumps pump heated water from a boiler through tubing laid in a pattern underneath the floor. The water supply to the system generally ranges from 85 degrees to 140 degrees Fahrenheit and is controlled by thermostats to moderate the floor temperature. A cementitious material or an air gap is required to distribute the heat evenly. And the last one we looked at was the STEP Warmfloor. The self-regulating elements are made of a semiconductive material which acts as a sensor. The heat output increases as the temperature decreases. And conversely, the heat output decreases as the temperature increases. The self-regulating element comes as a mat and can be placed directly under the floor covering because it cannot overheat. STEP Warmfloor can be used as a primary heating source or just a floor warming. Floor warming systems take the chill out of your cold floors but are not designed to be a primary heat source. Typically, a radiant floor warming system is installed in a bathroom, kitchen, sunroom, or any other area that you want the comfort of underfloor radiant heating. As a complementary heat source, it will provide a gentle and even underfloor heating experience, in addition to the existing heating system you have in your home. For primary heating, a heat loss calculation is required. This can be done per room or for the whole house. The manufacturer provides services for project-specific heat loss calculation. To complete the heat loss calculation, we would need to know the R values of the floor, the walls, and the ceiling, as well as the square footage of the windows. Typically, windows have some heat loss, so we want to take that all into account when we do that calculation. Advantages. Through self-regulating, it draws only the energy required to maintain the desired temperature. It's installed closer to the surface than any other radiant floor heating product. Continuous heating is more effective than on and off heating systems. You will use less energy setting the temperature and leaving it, or letting the system self-regulate, than if you are constantly turning the thermostat up and down. You're going to use less energy just letting it maintain than that up and down of the thermostat. You heat the system up, you turn it down, all the heat dissipates, and you have to start all over again and heating it up. So set it and leave it, and you'll use less energy that way. Most flooring materials, including tile, stone, hardwood, laminate, vinyl, and carpet. So you've got a lot of options for floor covering when using the STEP Warmfloor. The element operates on 24 volts. You can run on either AC or DC, connected to a safety voltage transformer, powered directly by solar or wind power. Green properties. The heating elements are made of a 20% recycled material, and there is 0% waste during the manufacturing process, since all scrap material is grinded and reused. The heating elements are self-regulating, which means that when the ambient temperature rises, the electrical resistance increases and the consumption of electricity decreases. The flat elements act as a sensor and give an even heat distribution on the whole surface, permitting to lower the room temperature. The materials used to make STEP Warmfloor are non-hazardous and environmentally friendly. Since the heating elements can also run on DC, they can be connected directly to solar panels or wind turbines. STEP Warmfloor is made in St. Louis, Missouri, USA. STEP Warmfloor energy-efficient radiant heating elements are made of recyclable, non-hazardous material. STEP Warmfloor is certified by Greener Product. They also comply with the LEED for homes, and NAHB standards. The product is thoroughly tested and certified, and then it earns the product certification once it has went through all of the testing and has been certified. STEP Warmfloor is a green heating system designed to meet demands for safety, comfort, and efficiency. It is made of non-hazardous materials and is recyclable. All materials used in the STEP Warmfloor radiant heating system are ecologically safe. Polyethylene is an environmentally friendly product. It does not produce hazardous gases and is biodegradable in sunlight. Benefits. Because the element is self-regulating, it reacts fast to external temperature changes. It cannot overheat, even under area rugs or heavy furniture. It draws only the energy required to maintain the designated temperature. The system is easy to install. Cut elements to length at the worksite. The 9-inch or 12-inch wide radiant heating element comes on a roll and can be cut to any length and wired at the job site. There is no need to order customized mats to fit your project. No failure rate during installation. The flexible polymer heating element is durable and will not be affected or destroyed by weight loads or walking on the elements during installation. Flexible installation option. The polymer element can be stapled onto the subfloor or stapled up between the joists or set in mortar. Install under any floor coverings. The radiant heating element operates on a low temperature and is approved to be installed under any floor covering. Heat your hardwood floors without the risk of damage. Minimal floor buildup. The radiant heating element is so thin, 3/64 inch, and can be installed directly under the floor covering, requiring minimal floor buildup. 3/64 inch might be hard to imagine what the thickness of that is. I like to say that's the thickness of a penny. That kind of helps visualize how thick or how thin the element actually is. Suitable for remodeling and new construction. Minimal floor buildup and flexible installation options makes the heating system just as suitable for retrofit applications, remodeling, or new construction. Here's a look at what the element looks like. It's a semiconductive plastic, low voltage, 24 volts AC or DC. Typical width is 12 inches. We also have a 9-inch wide thickness as well, or width as well. Sometimes a small bathroom, sometimes the 12-inch wide doesn't fit, so we've got the 9-inch wide that fits a little better in smaller areas. 20% of the material is made of recycled materials. You can see here the bus braids that run along the edge of the element. That's where the power runs through, and each one of these little strips is what actually heating element output. For most of our jobs, we've got two different ones that we look at. We have the 7.8 watts per foot is for carpet or wood applications. Maximum heat is 82 degrees Fahrenheit. The other one we have is the 9 watts per linear foot. Tile and staple up is what we use that element for. Maximum heat is 84 degrees Fahrenheit. You can staple or nail through the element without causing any failure. Again, stay away from the bus braids along the edges, but through the middle of it, you can staple or nail the element down in place. So if you've got a wood subfloor, that makes the install very easy on that, staying away from the bus braid on the edges. STEP Warmfloor is thin. Now you can actually see how thin it really is. This is what 3/64 inches. Also about the thickness of 10 sheets of paper. It doesn't increase your floor depth with the element only being this thick. Or thin, I guess, depending on how you look at it. Self-regulating technology. The element acts as a floor sensor. As the surface temperature increases, the element uses less energy. When the temperature drops, the element reacts quickly and begins heating. Here is a working system. It's the safest heating element, with it being low voltage. Here's a picture of Monica Ergens, who's the wife of the inventor Stefan, standing in a tub with water in it with a working system. It's a little hard to see the water perhaps in the tub, but she's got the water right up to about her ankle, the top of her foot. So she's got a couple inches of water with a working system, and she's standing in it without any problems. So that's pretty incredible that the system is as safe as it is. Energy efficiency. 2.5 times more efficient than cable. First picture we have here, reaction to temperature, less mass to heat through. With the STEP being closer to the floor coverings, you perhaps maybe have a 1/2 inch of material that you have to heat through. With cable, you've got more like 2 inches, so it takes a little longer to get that heat through up to the floor covering. Temperature difference. If you've got the element temp at 84 degrees, the ground temperature, let's say, is 50 degrees, you've got less temperature to overcome there than you've got with a cable that heats to 120 degrees. With either cable or water, they heat much hotter. They've got a lot more heat and more energy usage to get up to that higher temperature. Element is put closer on the floor with STEP, so you don't have as much heat to gain. Heat distribution. STEP has better coverage than, say, a cable or a tubing system. Those systems have to burn hotter to spread that heat further distances. They don't have quite the coverage that STEP Warmfloor has. Energy consumption, 7.8 watts per linear foot versus cable would be about 12 to 15 watts per square foot. Assuming that you've got 10 cents per kilowatt, your system would cost 60 to 80 cents per square foot for the heating season for the operating cost. Also check if your utility offers any off-peak or dual fuel options. Typically this is a way to get a lower rate on your kilowatts and save money on your usage. The higher the wattage means higher the energy consumption. So keep that in mind if you're out comparing systems. Here is a picture of even heat distribution with STEP versus one of the cable or a tubing system. This is using an imaging camera. You can see STEP on the right-hand side. It's got much more even heating than you would on the left side. It's an inconsistent burning, hot, inconsistent temperature, so they're burning hotter on the other side to spread that heat so it's uniform temperature above on the floor. This here is a calculation that was done by an engineer at the University of Florence in Italy. What they did was compare self-regulating elements, electric cable, and water tubing. So comparing apples to apples to kind of see what it would be if they were all the same comparison. They've got the formulas here that they use to figure out how they all would compare. But the important thing here is to look at the bottom here. Is STEP Warmfloor requires 4.5 watts per square foot. Electric cable for the same would be 11.25 watts per square foot. Water tubing would be 9.36 watts per square foot. So with electric cable, you would be using 2.5 times more energy with electric cable than you would with STEP Warmfloor. And with a water tubing system, you'd be looking at a little more than 2 times more usage with a tubing system than you would with STEP Warmfloor. STEP Warmfloor compared to floor heating cables. Up on the right here, you will see it's an LED light versus the regular light bulb. Our product manager, Dennis, here likes to use that analogy that you've got your regular light bulb versus the LED light bulb, and the LED is going to be much more efficient. It might cost more up front, but it's going to be better efficiency than a regular old light bulb. As far as floor covering, STEP Warmfloor you can put under any type of floor covering, cable or a cable mat. No. Self-regulating heating element, energy efficiency, STEP Warmfloor, yes. The other two systems, no. Low voltage, 24 volts, STEP Warmfloor, yes. The other two systems, cable typically not. Mat, there's a few out there you'd have to double check on that. Risk of overheating, STEP Warmfloor is no. The other two systems are yes. And loss of heating due to puncture, STEP Warmfloor, no. The other two systems have a higher failure rate. GFI required, STEP Warmfloor is no. The other two systems are yes. Need a floor sensor with STEP Warmfloor, no. The other two systems, yes. And the biggest thing here, operating cost, STEP is going to be most efficient compared to the other two systems. Automatic updates here that I'm going to try and remove. Okay, now we're going to get to some design considerations and planning. The important thing is communication between the trades, the electrician, the flooring contractor, designer, builder, as well as communication with the homeowner. Whoever is going to be involved with the project needs to all be on the same page to help that project go as smooth as it can. Some design tips. Learn how STEP Warmfloor system operates for all parties involved. Involve and communicate the entire design team, whether it be the flooring installer, the electrician, whoever it is, the design group, have everybody be included in that design part of it. Get an accurate heat loss for application for primary heat. Avoid using floor coverings that the manufacturer does not recommend. There's very few. Exotic woods might be one, but just check with us. If there's a certain floor that you're putting in, check with us. If we don't know the answer, we'll check with the manufacturer to make sure that it is approved floor covering. This here is an example of a sent-in plan in a CAD layout. On the left was the plan that we had gotten with the dimensions. On the right, you will see the CAD layout that the manufacturer does. What they will do is, when they give you a quote, is they'll give you a materials list, your wiring diagram, and a CAD layout. It'll tell you how many strips you need at what lengths to cut them. So when you get your bulk of element in your order, then you can cut it on site to the measurements that are needed to fit into your space. The manufacturer does a great job. They take all the guesswork out of installing it with providing the detailed quote that they do. Element spacing guidelines for floor warming. Depending on the space between the joists in a staple-up application, you may have joist space at 16 inches on center or 24 inches on center. That will determine if your quote is designed with one 12-inch wide element or two 9-inch wide elements. Another thing, if you're going to be putting your element on your subfloor, carpet is a 5-inch spacing between the element, wood and vinyl is a 4-inch spacing, and tile is 2-inch spacing. Carpet spreads the heat a lot better, so you can have that element a little further apart. Tile does not spread the heat very well. It goes straight up, so you have to get that element a lot closer together. So when you're walking, you don't have cold spots as you're walking on that tile. But again, that's something that will help design for you when we get your quote and design or plans that you send in to us. Some important notes here on the right. The elements should never touch one another, and no foil-backed insulation should come in contact with the element. I'm going to look through some flooring installation options here. There's so many that you can do, so kind of look at a few of them here. The first one on the top there would be if you have a concrete slab, you're going to do some sort of insulation on top of that concrete. You always want to insulate concrete if you can. You want that heat to go up through the floor, not down into that cold concrete. You'll always hear us recommend insulating if possible. Then you'll have your element and then your mortar and tile on top of that. The next one is if you can insulate in your floor joist. You've got your wood subfloor, your step element, the cement backer board, the mortar and tile on top of that. The one on the bottom here, again, would be if you've got concrete slab, your thermal insulation, your STEP Warmfloor, waterproof membrane if needed, and then your cement, mortar, and tile. Another look at a few other options. This would be carpet on concrete. You'd have the slab, again, insulation, your element, proper carpet cushion. Manufacturer recommends healthier choice or sponge cushion to be used, and then your carpet over the top of it. This method also requires the fail-safe wiring. Fail-safe wiring is used whenever there may be a risk of cutting or damaging the bus braces. Next one down would be another, like a floor joist, insulate well. You've got your wood subfloor, your step element, and then a hardwood or a floating floor over the top of it. And you can staple or nail through the element, so if you do have a nailed down hardwood, not a problem at all to use real hardwood with STEP Warmfloor. And the last one here would be another floor joist, one where you'd want to put your insulation up into that joist cavity. You'd have your STEP Warmfloor element, your wood subfloor, and then whatever flooring over the top of it, whether it be wood or laminate or carpet, tile, whatever over the top of it. This would be that where you put it up underneath the joist space and then insulate well. Again, fail-safe wiring is required on this one. Again, whenever there's a risk of cutting or damaging the bus brakes, you'd want to use the fail-safe wiring. Insulation is the key to heating performance. Insulation is something you only pay for once. Heat always migrates to cold. Insulation assures movement heat towards intended direction. Critical role in determining expected results. Always add insulation if there is an opportunity. Perimeter insulation is important with slab-on-grade applications. You will always hear us talk about insulation if you can. It's just going to help that system perform better and give you better energy efficiency. Products you can use would be Weedy, ProPanel, Cerazorb, Cork, just to name a few of the insulation pieces that you can use. And actually they can go right on the concrete. So if you've got that concrete floor already poured, you can put the insulation down first and then put your flooring over the top of it. Where to place the transformer. Here's a picture of it underneath a crawl space, it looks like. But you can put it in a crawl space, in a closet, in an attic, in a utility room. You want to put the transformer in an upright position. Next here we've got the heating system components to the whole STEP Warmfloor heating system. First one here is the thermostat. You've got the programmable or a non-programmable option, as also a timer can be used. Easy to read display, precise temperature control, 3 temperature modes. There's the air sensing, floor sensing, or a combination of air and floor or both. There's also a floor sensor that you can use, and then you can sense the floor temperature as opposed to doing the air temperature, or again, you've got the option of doing the combo, but a floor sensor is included with that system. And you can actually control up to 20 transformers with one thermostat. Next one, we have the power supply, high efficiency, 96% power supply, also called a transformer. That's what actually steps the system down to 24 volts. Primary and secondary circuit protection, extruded aluminum profile with heat sink. We've got 2 models here of the transformers. One that are the LXRs, which have the thermostat capabilities, and the regular LX, that do not have the thermostat control. The wattages that they come in is 120 watts, 120 volts or 240 volts for the transformers. They have a 250 watt, a 500 watt, a 1000 watt, or a 1500 watt transformer. And again, you don't need to figure that all out. We'll quote that all for you when we get your drawing. We'll tell you which size transformer you're going to need to best fit, your project that you have. And then the smaller projects like bathrooms might not use a thermostat, maybe use a timer or an on-off switch. Those come in 250 watts or 500 watts, and again 120 or 240 volts. Heating element, low voltage, 24 volts, AC or DC. Self-regulating semiconductive polyethylene element. The widths are 9 inches or 12 inches. Thickness, again, 3/64 inch. The different types of element that they have is the 12-inch wide, 7.8 watt element, typically used under carpet and wood. The commercial, it's also 12-inch wide. That's a 9 watts, typically used under tile. Sunrooms is a little higher wattage. That's, again, 12 inches, 14 watts. And those are for harder to heat areas, sunrooms, sun porches. They might use a higher wattage element in there to get a little bit more heat in some of those areas. And the last one is the floor joist, 12-inch wide. It's a 9 watt element. Materials provided by Heat My Floors. There's the transformer or power supply. You've got your element that will come in a bulk, and then you cut it on site. You've got the crimp tool, the tinned copper wire, your crimps, and your sealant tape. All of that will be provided for you on a materials list when we provide a quote for you. Warranty, element 20 years, transformer is 10 years, controls are 2 years. We're at the questions and answer part of the webinar here. Again, my name is Tracy. My contact information is there. You can either call me or email me with any questions that you do have. Question here, how does this compare to other products you see at Menards or Home Depot? STEP Warmfloor is not sold in stores. We are a distributor of the product here in Minnesota, actually the only distributor here in Minnesota. So you would have to come to us directly to provide a quote and buy the products from us. A lot of the times at the Menards, Home Depot, those kinds of stores, you'll see the cable systems. And there's tons of cable systems that are out there. So do your homework on those. Make sure looking at the warranty, the watts per square foot, the higher the wattage, the more energy it's going to consume. But they're a lot cheaper, so people can buy them themselves, do-it-yourself people can do it themselves, going to those stores and buying those products. But definitely do your homework on them. There's lots of products out there. how long does the product last? The product has actually been around, since it was first designed for heated car seats, so it's been around that long. The warranty is 20 years on it. It'll last as long, forever, hopefully. It's got a carbon filament in it, and carbon can last indefinitely. So we've had, very good luck with the product. How much does it cost to install? What we do is design it for you based off of your plans or drawings that you send to us. We would sell you the materials as a homeowner, and you would install it yourself and have an electrician help you install it, or you can completely not do any of it and have a contractor do it as well. So we can help you find contractors if you need somebody, or you can find your own contractor to do that. Or if you feel like you want to do it yourself, you certainly can do that as well. Another one we have here, can I use this under carpet? Absolutely. The heating element that we use is a 7.8 watt element, and that will get to 82 degrees, so it's perfect temperature to have under carpet. It doesn't get too warm under carpet. The one thing we do want to keep in mind is just getting the right carpet pad. Again, healthier choice or sponge cushion would be 2 carpet pads to use. But yep, it definitely works under carpet. We do a lot of basements because those are typically colder areas. People use carpet in those areas, so this product works great for that. Another one here, do you need a thermostat? The element is self-regulating, so you do not need a thermostat. It will self-regulate at 82 degrees, so you certainly don't need one. Like in a bathroom, you might want it warm all the time. Otherwise, you do have the option of controlling the temperature with a thermostat. And I think that is all we have for questions today. We do have one more webinar coming up next Thursday, the 19th. 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is aimed at contractors, architects, electricians, and builders. So if you have time, that would be another one to tune into. Today, I just want to thank you for attending the webinar today from the staff here at Heat My Floors. You can see a picture of all of the staff here. So thank you for joining us today. Have a great rest of your day.